3, 2, Cook Monster U.
Alright, so how many of you have been nervous or just a little bit scared before like a track meet, cross meet, anything, basketball game? Okay, good. That is anxiety, but you don't always have it. You just have it for that moment in time when you're getting ready to play. So today I'm going to tell you and inform you on what anxiety disorders and anxiety attacks are.
I'm going.
Press the
1 second. I am.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, so my freshman year, I did go to Mount Pleasant for like 2 weeks. I didn't like it at all. So I switched to Shepherd, but that wasn't the only reason. I did have anxiety extremely bad. I would cry, I would not want to get out of the car, I would shake. It was just horrible. Like, you don't realize how bad it is until it actually happens to you. So anxiety disorders, everyone has a phase of anxiety. It might not be that bad, but it can affect you some way. Those who suffer long term are afraid of places and activities. So I was afraid of going to school because I just didn't like it. Anxiety is the body's response to danger. So like you think that something bad's going to happen to you when you walk into that certain place or do that certain activity. Research shows that females do have more anxiety due to hormones and the brain chemistry. Okay, these are some of physical and emotional disorders. Disorders and attacks are completely different. Sweating, dizziness and fatigue, headaches, shortness of breath, pounding the heart are just a few things that can possibly happen when you are having an anxiety attack. The emotional are restlessness like this, like moving your hand, anticipating the worst. So if you're sitting there, like let's say John was sitting there and he's just thinking, oh my gosh, something bad's going to happen to me, there's something bad going on. If you're tensed and jumpy, so if somebody came up behind you, just tapped you on the shoulder, you jumped and turned around. And watching for danger, so like if you're in the hallway and you are being really anxious, you're just looking around trying to find something that's dangerous because you're focused so much on that. Anxiety attacks, there are panic attacks, and those are physical. Those are more where you're probably going to lay on the floor, or you're going to cry, you're going to shake, you're going to want to leave. They're intense fear or panic, and they usually occur suddenly. They're not something that you think about. It just happens within like 5 minutes. And most people feel like they're probably going to die, or they just want to be somewhere else. And they usually last about 30 minutes. But after about 10, it starts to die down a little bit. Symptoms of anxiety attacks. The surge of overwhelming panic is more of an emotional state. Feeling like you're going to lose control or go crazy is definitely a big part of the emotional state. And thinking the worst, thinking you know something bad is going to happen when it probably won't. Physical, people tend to hyperventilate and they sweat. And then trembling and shaking. Crying is also a huge symptom of physical for panic attacks. There is more than one. You might not know, but OCD is an anxiety disorder. So like if I had 3 things here, they all have to be perfectly in sync, or at night when you have to go lock the door 3 times to make sure it's locked, that is an anxiety disorder because you're afraid of something happening. Any phobia, like if you're afraid of spiders, heights, anything, that is an anxiety disorder. Post-traumatic stress disorder, which usually happens after a woman has had a baby, that is repeats and reminds us of like anxious times or times that we were in danger or we feel that we were in danger. If you have a fear of being judged at school or being embarrassed in front of people, you have what's called social anxiety disorder, and that just makes you a little bit more afraid every day. Anxiety helps trigger the flight or fight response in a dangerous situation. You can learn anxiety through watching people. So like let's say your mom has to vacuum the house every day, and then she has to dust the same thing every day, like a certain amount of times. And watching that, you can gain anxiety from that. Like you can start doing the same type of things. Over 42 million people suffer from anxiety, and it is the fastest growing disease. And a certain place, room, or location can trigger attacks just like that. So if I was afraid of going into like the art room, if I walked in there and I saw something, I could have an anxiety attack like that. I do not have anxiety anymore. It kind of went away. I still take medicine for it, but it's gotten better over the years. And to cope with it, I just kept on pushing and telling myself that nothing was going to happen to me and that I was going to be okay.